this week on the Uncharted update, the most dangerous roads of America. But first, check this out. First up, the World Cup's going on in Qatar, and we're not going to talk about it. I'm not a soccer guy. But what I do want to talk about is some crazy stuff happening, and you guessed it, China. So there's a lot happening over there. I don't know if you've been following the news or digging in. A lot of it actually gets blocked. But they are getting 40,000 new cases of COVID a day. The way they're combating this, they're building these huge facilities to keep people quarantined. There's one facility that'll hold 90,000 people alone. There's videos of them ironing bars across doors of apartment buildings, keeping people inside. And the people have had enough. There are revolts going on around the country. And while we've seen all that, one of the more interesting things I've seen is how people are passing the word on social media. Now check this out. We all know that China likes to keep a firm grasp on everything and all the communication in and out, where people go and what they do. So here's what's really cool. Young Chinese protesters have thought of a way around this. They are using a white piece of paper as a sign of rebellion against the Chinese government. What this does is it eliminates bots from reading words, from scanning, from finding them. There's no way to track this. So it's pretty clever what they're doing. Human ingenuity always makes me smile. Now, Xi and the Chinese government have promised a swift response to any protesters. So how's this play out? You have millions of citizens clashing with the Chinese government. It's going to be interesting, and I guess we'll have to just stay tuned. The American Automobile Association has released their top 12 most dangerous roads in America. So of course, being a bit of a road warrior myself, I looked up the top 12 roads, and turns out I've driven 6 of them. So which ones have you driven? The list isn't just in these northern snow-covered states like I assumed at first. It includes Alaska, Hawaii, Nevada, Arizona, Montana, Colorado, Texas, Louisiana, Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina, with some having more than one road. But taking the top spot is the Haul Road, aka the Dalton Highway in Alaska. I drove that on a hunt a few years ago, and I can tell you, it was one of the most adrenaline-packed 6 hours of my life. Not only is there only a handful of cities along this highway, making you have to time your gas consumption out, but there are these big ice heaves, there's crazy storms, there's huge wildlife, and there's just nobody out there. But it was a lot of fun. Here's the list behind me. Check them out and see if you've visited any. Let us know. And of course, we always end with something about animals, one of my favorite subjects. So there wasn't a whole lot this week as far as animal encounters. The rut's kind of calmed down. Bears are going into hibernation. But one thing that popped into my head that I thought you might find interesting is what animals eat in the winter, specifically deer and elk. Now here's what happens. Deer and elk in the summer are eating grass, or eating a lot of greens. As the fall comes, as the temperatures get cooler, the biome in their stomach actually completely changes, and what they transition to is eating things like bark and the buds on leaves. Why am I saying this? Well, a lot of times people see animals out and they want to go take a bale of hay or dump some corn in the yard. That can actually kill the animal. While they can digest that in the summer, no problem, it can kill them in the winter. So, if you see a herd of elk out there, see some deer in the yard, just let them be. They're going to be just fine. That's all we have for this week. Hope you guys are enjoying the holidays and getting some snow, and we will see you next week.